I'm going about 27, 28 miles an hour. And there it is. I don't know if you saw the light, probably not with the camera angle, but it flashed at me. Hey, what's up, my dudes? James here, living life from dusk till dawn as always, and we're back with another upgrade question mark for Blue, my 2012 Mazdaspeed 3. And there's a Batman girl. That's the name of the cat, neighborhood cat. Hi, come here, come say hello. Here, I'll sit down. You can come to me. Yeah, come on. Come on. It's hot out here. Why are you just chilling? Anyways, Mazdaspeed 3. Yeah. So, I recently got Blue tuned, and what that did, basically the stock horsepower coming from the motor, so to the crank, is I think 263, and the estimated horsepower after the tune is about 310 to the crank. More power means more better, but that brings with it a couple of little problems. This car is front-wheel drive, which means that all the power from the engine when you're going forward is going through the front tires. Now, there is the weight of the engine over the front, but whenever you accelerate in a vehicle, you've probably felt it yourself, the car kind of sits backwards, right? All that weight shifts to the rear, which is why rear-wheel drive cars do really good, especially in like drag racing and stuff, is because they have all of that weight going to the back. Not to mention the second thing that we're going to talk about, which is downforce. So basically wind that is blowing over top of the car, or air that is moving over the car as you're driving through it, pushes it down. Kind of looping those two concepts together between the horsepower and the downforce, I guess 3 concepts because it's a front wheel drive car. Whenever I'm going fast or trying to go fast and I put the pedal to the metal, specifically in second gear, the power coming from the engine to the front tires is great enough to break traction. And so while I'm heading down the road, I'm in first gear, I shift it to second gear. If I bring it up to that 3,000 RPM, which is kind of like the cutoff for entering boost in these cars, and then I punch it, I break traction. I was doing some research and trying to figure out how I can prevent that. And basically the key there is more downforce. So some of the things that you can do in order to increase downforce on the car include adding a big old wing on the back, which adds more force on the rear of the car. Covering the entire bottom of the car with platforms or plates, which this one has for the most part. I don't have anything under the engine bay, which I need to, but whatever. But that will cause basically a suction effect on the road where the car will be pulled down towards the road. Another thing you can do is a front splitter, which is basically like this little thing right here, but it runs the entire length of the front of the car, and then that will allow for like air to get caught at the front, and it'll push the front end down. Or what we're going to do today is add some canards. So if you guys don't know what that is, it's basically a fin that goes on the front of the car. I found these from a guy in Marketplace, just selling them super cheap, and there it is. It's a little wing. We have 2 small ones and 2 large ones, right? Obviously they're very flat and rigid. But the general concept is you take this fin, I don't remember which is which, I think this is here, and you place it on the front of the car. And so it will, for the most part, align with the curve of the body. And then you place 2 of them here, the big one here, and then the small one goes up top. And you bolt them into the front bumper, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Applies downforce on the front end of the car so that when you're in second gear, and you punch it, you don't lose traction. I've been doing some research into this. I know I'm talking a lot, and you guys probably already clicking off the video. It's fine. I've been doing some research, and I've been trying to figure out exactly how much like surface area I would need on those canards in order to really see any difference. Because 25 miles an hour, you have plenty of motion or like wind and air moving over the the surfaces of those, but I don't know if it's going to be fast enough to provide enough downforce to prevent the tires from breaking traction. I don't really know. In the research that I was finding or Googling, specifically on these ones, which are built for this car, didn't really prove or show me anything that would describe that. So I emailed the company and they haven't responded. Of course, for now, we're going to go for a drive. I'm going to roll the windows down just so you can hear it, and I'm going to get into second gear and punch it, and then I'll show you that, hey, I lose traction. Crazy. And then we'll get the Canards installed and then go for another drive and do a quick test. Hopefully it fixes that problem. Also, they look cool. So 2 birds, 1 stone. So I'm leaving traction control on just because it'll probably flash at me once I lose traction. And that'll give you a little bit more of a reference or a view. So let me crack the windows so you can hear. And then once I get around this bend, I'll punch it. So I'm going about 27, 28 miles an hour. And there it is. I don't know if you saw the light, probably not with the camera angle, but it flashed at me. So I was doing some Googling, trying to figure out where Canards are usually placed on the speeds, and different companies do different things. A lot of companies run a singular Canard along here, and then the front splitter has a secondary one that comes up right here. Obviously, that's not what I have. So I decided that I was going to start out by following body lines, because that's probably the most aerodynamic for the car from the manufacturer. But the bottom one isn't going to fit anywhere that's equivalent to a body line. So I ended up adjusting it to pretty much there, which is about the best fit that I can get. Now, there's still going to be a gap in the front, but all of the pictures that I was seeing on Google from this company's Canard install on this car had that gap in the front. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then just to equivalent or match kind of the angle of attack of that bottom Canard is where I'll put the top one at a similar angle. So I'll just use a paint pen, put a couple of quick dots. I'm going to measure the distance between these two because since this is flat, it'll be the same angle if this distance is the same as this distance, if that makes sense. And if it's not, I can adjust it a little bit. But yeah, and then there shouldn't be anything back here that's in the way of me drilling because the fog lights are down here and this is pretty much empty space up in the front. I could stick my hand up in there if I really wanted to. Driver's side is on and looking pretty good if I do say so myself. And they're even. Best part about it is when I do the wrap, I can literally just pull those bolts off and run the wrap, cut the holes for the rib nuts, and then stick the nuts or bolts back in. So should be really easy. Now the hard part, I need to repeat this on the passenger side. So I have a general idea of where everything is. I know basically I started with this line, this body line right here, and I had the edge, the upper edge of the upper Canard running along the edge of that body line. So that's where the initial dot is here, and then this was 5 3/4 inches. Sorry, 5.5, but like just a little bit beyond, so maybe like 5 9/16 inches. And that'll be where I mark the first dot. And then this one basically is just barely at or below the body line curve for the fog light. So I can run those two. I'll start with that one. I'll measure that one down, and then I'll align the Canard with that, run it to here, measure that, run the center dot, and then this is the same 5 9/16 inches away. So it shouldn't be too bad. Let me go ahead and get that other side thrown on. I'll show you what it looks like. Other side came out pretty good. It's quite similar. The other line that I added is basically the back edge of the bottom fin being on the inner fender liner, and then of course this one being on that body line running around the wheel well. And I did pretty good to match it up here. The upper one is on point. The lower one is in just a smidge more than I probably would. I don't even know if I showed you that. It's in just a smidge more than I probably would prefer, but they are on. They are even enough to the eyes But yeah, they look great. So now we're just going to go for a drive, do that same test. It's the same dang day, only like half hour, 40 minutes later. So I'm going to go same stretch of road, second gear, 3,000 RPM, punch it, and we'll see if we lose traction. Here we go. Definitely still slipped. Try it again real quick. Okay, so it still slips, but I have no way of measuring whether or not it's better or worse than it was. I was kind of hoping that I could just punch it and it wouldn't slip at all, but obviously that's not the case. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll do some math now and see how much downforce we actually added to the car. Obviously, you'd also need to know the math of how much downforce is required to keep you from breaking traction, and I don't really know how to do that. So, I don't know. What's up? Me from the desk. Don't worry about the mess. It's work in progress. But I totally didn't do an outro for this video just because I thought I was going to do some math to figure out, like, based on the surface area and the angle of these canards, to be able to tell me how much downforce I would be able to receive on my car at different speeds. Obviously, it changes based on the speed of the car, air density, like I mentioned, the angle of the canards, and then how much actual air is interacting with those front fins. But in an ideal world, with ideal conditions and an ideal angle, which I have no idea whether or not I am anywhere near that, I can expect to get up to 20 to even 50% more downforce on the car from canards alone. Now, that is what Google says based on probably racing applications with the massive, massive canards on the front end of a car. But that is totally separate from the actual, the rest of the aero itself, right? That's separate from the front splitter, I mentioned that underbelly protection, all that sort of stuff. So that's pretty cool. Naturally, if the car is a different shape, the canards are going to have a different effect because the air that's interacting with the body of the car is going to be moving around it differently. So there's so many factors to consider when you are trying to determine whether or not these are doing anything. So I will say that I believe, and this is me talking from months later, that the front end does not slip nearly as much as it did before I had the canards on the car, but I can't prove that. So it's based on entirely the feel of me as the driver. A lot of it could be placebo. Maybe I hope that it works because I put it on there, but even if it didn't, it looks cool in my opinion, and that's really what matters. So with that, I hope you all have enjoyed. I hope you come back and see me again, and I cannot wait until the next upgrade video. And keep your eyes on the horizon on the channel because I took this car to a dyno, and I am really excited to share that footage with you because that was a freaking epic day. So look forward to that, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to live from dusk till dawn.